Hello, my friends, and welcome to this pick a card reading where I'll be looking at how you can embrace your power. This was really inspired by a new deck that I got called the Imperium, and also by my own personal tarot reading that I received from Eye of the Serpent Tarot. If you haven't, she's so amazing, so please do check her out. I do collaborations with her, and she did a very, very good reading with me, and I was inspired to do this tarot reading. So let's see. I'm going to select cards for you while we're together because I like that, and it brings me back to the days of when I used to do the daily pick a cards, the daily collective readings. So let's see. Okay, so that's pile one. And let's see. I need like another two that isn't going to, that they don't show the, yep. Pile two. And pile three. So, how to embrace your power? How can you embrace your power? 3 piles to choose from. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Timestamps will be in the description box below, and I'll see your reading. Bye. Hi, pile 1. So, welcome to your reading. This is really interesting. So, how can you embrace your power? Princess of Swords. Okay. You need to look at something directly. Your communication is also very important as well. The way that you communicate is something that's really prominent. But what I also get is that if you focus in the right space, if you concentrate your attention into the right space, you will be able to harness your power. Because the Princess of Swords, the Page of Swords, usually isn't able to look at where they need to look. I've always thought of this card as being quite unusual in the respect that she's holding a sword in a way that I don't think anybody would ever hold a sword. And it's also curved, and there are curved swords, but it just seems like this is a bit misdirected, misguided. So there's something about refocusing your attention, because right now where your attention is at, it's not in the strongest place. And that space will enable you, if you are able to kind of rejig your trajectory, then you will be able to really harness and focus in on what you're supposed to be doing, on where you can. It feels like your power is dissipated right now, pile 1. It feels like that it's scattered. And I don't know, right? When I do my picker cards of late, I've been resonating with pile 1, so I feel that the ability to get distracted, procrastinate, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm feeling that. And that's Princess of Swords energy right there. And it's interesting, some people would see it as when it's reversed, that would be no communication. But actually, then I would say that you're actually choosing to look at it properly. You're choosing to look at what's out there properly. You're choosing to focus on something rather than being afraid to look at it. You've got 2 of these, so let's have a look. Wow, you've got Chiron and Capricorn I use, and they're both upright. Now, the thing I get with Chiron, right, is that Chiron is an energy that Sometimes it is too painful to look directly there. Sometimes it is just so much easier to look at everything else and everyone else rather than looking at oneself. We've also got Capricorn I use, that's number 4. We've got number 8, healing. So there's something about an evolution that's going on with you, pile 1. It's like a real desire that you want to change this state. You want to move from this position of page into something else. Not that page isn't a, it's basically an immature energy. And I just feel like for you to evolve into your power, it's recognizing that you are in this immature space. And the page is the page, And this is just, if you want power, you want a queen or a king, right? In the respect of Chiron, understanding your own flaws and healing your own flaws is about being able to increase your power. Capricorn is all about power. Capricorn, if there was someone that you wanted to think about who was power hungry and wanted power, it would be Capricorn. Now, I'm not saying that that's what you do. I'm not saying that that's what you would want to do. But I'm talking about you harnessing your power. So for you to think about that, for you to want to do that, you have to get into that mindset. You have to get into that place where you believe that you have this power. You have to feel empowered. You have to feel motivated. You have to feel pushed to doing something. It's not just about you allowing things to come to you or averting your attention. This is about facing yourself and looking at where it is that you are not placing your attention. If you find, and also what I find really interesting is that when you journal of a day, and trust me, I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from someone who is the queen of procrastination, who knows exactly that I have a lot of power, but then unfortunately, because I don't focus it in a certain time, place, wherever, it just goes all over the place. There's a reason why I meditate for a long time. I go away and I meditate. I hold myself up in a room for about 10 days so that I just don't talk to anyone, and then I can just focus my energy on myself because my brain is all over the place. This is air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So as someone who's Gemini, I totally am all over the place in that respect. I'm being very candid with you in terms of my own personal experience, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea that when I talk about this with such kind of, I'm quite intense with this. It's because in a way I'm almost talking to myself in this respect. There is a need for discipline, and there is a need for there's a need for discipline and a need for focus, because it's clear that you want to do something with it. You definitely want to do something with it, but this Princess of Swords, you're gonna need to step up your game, and you're not gonna be able to achieve what you want to do. And it's what's killing it is that it's actually they're waiting for you to step up. The universe is saying to you, okay, so these shoes and these boots are here for you to fill it. But you need to up your game. You need to start leveling up. So that's what that's saying. Interesting, right? Oh my God. Anyway, little bit of talking to there. But as I said, I'm talking to myself as well. I've been a lazy so-and-so anyway, and the year has just started. Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay, let's put that there. I will just shuffle these again. So Queen of Pentacles reversed is almost like the idea that I think that there's an idea that you feel that you want to fulfill. You want to be this person, but it's just not coming to fruition. It's almost like you've got everything in place. You've got everything there, but it's just not coming. It's not coming because, or maybe there's this thing where you have to work. And I think that's what it is. I think this Queen of Pentacles reversed is almost like an abuse of the things that you've got, and there's a sense of complacency as well that's here, and And I know that you want to kind of like move beyond that. I really do. I sense that with that Princess of Swords, there's something there. But, and not just that, you wouldn't be watching this reading if that was the case. But I do think that, you know, you have potential. We've got 3 pentacles here. It's a bit of a slog, I'm not going to lie, but this is going to be, it seems like there's some programming here that needs to be changed. And once that programming changes, then you're going to be able to achieve some really great things. Really great things. In fact, as I said, the universe is waiting for you to do that. So I think that that's what's important. 5 of Swords reversed. You can't admit defeat. You have to be insistent. You have to be something that you have to be making sure that you are taking action every day towards your goals. You cannot leave it you can't leave it latent. You have to make slow and steady progress towards it. And you may think that you are this Queen of Pentacles already, but then you're still not where you want to be. So how are you going to make slow, steady steps towards that? And it's about that. And I think you've got all the potential in the world to do it. And not only that, you have people that will help you. You have people that will help you and people who want to support you in this endeavor. But you have to focus. So this is how you harness your power, pile 1. 5 of Cups reversed. See, I told you, you've got people there. You've got people wanting to help you. I don't know if there is some kind of like disappointment in self-esteem. I don't know if you're like making excuses. I don't know what it is here, right? And trust me, I know. I'm going to say to you, I know this, you know. The negative self-thought can kind of happen. You can kind of think, oh yeah, but I can't do this and I can't do that. You have to just wrench yourself away from those sort of things and distract yourself. A really interesting coaching technique I use with my clients is that if you find yourself going in a ruminating pattern, change your state immediately. Go and like literally shake yourself out of it and do something completely different. You could just shake your body or do something, or just to shake off the cobwebs, or just to do something different. Just do something different to change your state. And then that will help you. I'm telling you, exercise is probably the best thing. So whatever kind of exercise that you can tolerate or that you can do. So basically something that makes you sweat, something that makes you laugh, and then doing some kind of work for the day is going to really help you to feel good about yourself on a daily basis. And that's how you build up like your focus and your self-esteem, because the focus is like a muscle. So it's about you being able to do that. And I think when also, and I'm guilty of this as well, like when we've got like a whole plan of things that we want to do, or a whole load of things that we want to do, we can become overwhelmed and we can become completely lost in the list. So how is it that we're going to approach that? So just tackle one thing at a time. That's all you can do. The Lovers. So this is about bringing balance to yourself. I don't know if there is somebody in your life. I'm not seeing this really as a relationship kind of vibe, but it is interesting how we have this collaboration card. Then we have the 5 of Cups, which I always see reversed, particularly, which I always see as like the 2 of Cups. And then we have the Lovers. So with this Lovers card, and it's amazing, this deck, I love it. This is the Holy Spectrum, Tower of the Holy Spectrum. And they've just restocked their cards, so I would suggest going and buying them. But with this card, like, it's almost like this confrontation of self, confrontation of shadow self. And it's interesting how we have these purples here as well, and purple here. So it's almost like moving away from this, or using the things that are here when we've got this color palette that's here with these yellows, greens, oranges, and then we have that with the yellows and the reds that are here, and then it moves into the red here. But then when we move into the green and then we go into blue and purple, it's almost like the evolution of self. How do we transform that? How do we look at ourselves in a really clear and concise way so that we can actually like truly understand what our power is? Because sometimes we might not even realize like what exactly our power is. We don't even know how we can approach our power. So, and what does that even mean anyway? Like, how does that, like, your power, what is that? What is my power? What is that? Your power is how you push yourself in this world. It's how you make your mark in this world. How you and I'm laughing because I just thought of an Instagram post that I saw. It was just It's really interesting, but it might offend some people. But it was there was this woman, like, she was making this, like, these baked potatoes, and she was saying, I see all these people on Instagram and TikTok saying that their mum never taught them how to cook. And then they said, well, your mum never taught you how to be in the bedroom. So, but you taught yourself because you really wanted to be really good. So, like, so don't make the excuse that, you didn't learn it from your parents or whatever. You learned. So it's about your own sense of motivation. Where is your focus? Where is your focus? That's the key question for you, pile 1. Where is your focus? Okay, let's have a look at, I'm going to have a look, I'm going to finish off with these, but I got this new deck called the Imperium, and I mean, look at that. Just look at that. I just can't wait. Okay, so let's pull you a card, pile 1, because I'm so excited. And this is why I did this reading, because it was because of, oh, you got 2. You got 2. Okay, so we got, and these ones, I mean, it doesn't really matter about the reversals, but I don't know, can you see that? Let me just see if you can see that on the camera. Wow, I love that. So that's creation. So creation, and you can't really see that like that. Oh, but you can see it like that. Okay, so we'll leave it like that. And then this one, oh my God, these backs. Oh, oh my God, amend. Oh God, these cards. Oh, love them. Right, okay, so, and then we've got amend here. So, sorry, the light is a bit crap. But anyway, you can see what that says, right? There we go, amend. Okay, right, so that's those 2. So you've got amend and creation. And when I sit down, I can't see either of them. So it doesn't matter. We'll both be in the same boat. So, so that's those cards. So creation and amend. So you are the creator of your own destiny, and please don't think that just because one thing has turned out one way that that's it. It's about you being able to make amends. And I think with your own self, I think something's damaged here. I think there's this sense of avoidance is coming from a place where you're hurt, where you believe that something didn't occur for you or didn't happen for you. Maybe you believe that you've missed your chance. You only fail when you give up completely. Okay, pile 1. Wow. Keep trying. I'm going to put this up right. Because, I mean, and then we've got another 4 here, Capricorn. So for those of you, and look at the bluey colours and how it combines with the green as well. So heart chakra, Ajna chakra, which is third eye chakra, throat chakra. We've also got Manipura, which is the yellow chakra, which is what you do. I'm telling you, okay, right? So working out is going to be really good for you. Instigating some kind of routine and then building upon that routine, because, Capricorn is about consistent hard work. Building a foundation, which is the number 4 that's here, so that you can evolve to the 8, so that you can truly heal yourself. And with this amend card, what I'm getting is that it's kind of you having to be okay with the fact that you didn't succeed before. And I think I'm repeating myself, to be honest with you, but, if you're able to really recognize about whether or not you can just be at peace with the fact that you didn't make it that time. And it's okay, because you're going to continue trying. That's what it's about. That's what it's truly about. So, pile 1, I think that's all I've got for you today, but I think there's a very powerful message for you here. I think exercising, creating rituals, creating certain certain rituals that are going to help empower you. And there's a thing where and I've given you some techniques in this reading already, but like you can also, when you formulate one, like, so for example, you've got a simple thing like you brush your teeth. So if you think, okay, so when I brush my teeth, I'm going to do this thing at the same time, or I'm going to do this thing just afterwards. You basically add on. You like kind of add on routines or little things, little things on top of it. So you may want to like work out for a bit, even if it's just like shaking out your body for like a couple of minutes as soon as you get out of bed, like shaking it out or something like that. That's very, very useful. It's also a Qigong technique as well. So check that out, see what you think. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Good luck with harnessing your power, because it seems to me like you have got a lot of it, but you just need to focus it, my friends. And don't let anybody who told you that you don't have that power, don't believe them. You do have a lot of power. It just needs to be the focus. The focus, it's a bit off right now, and you need to like maintain the focus. But I'm telling you, once you do this, you're going to achieve some really great things. You're going to find a balance within yourself that you never had thought of, you never seen before. Powerful reading, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, my friends, do get in touch if you want a private reading, and we can go deeper on a more personal level. When I do my private readings, I also work through a plan of action for you, because I ask you to come with me with a question, and then I go through a plan of action with you in a real coaching sense, because I want to use the tarot to empower you. Anyway, you take care, my darlings, and I shall speak to you soon. Lots of love. Bye. Hi, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. How do you embrace your power? Pile 1's reading was pretty full on, so let's see what there is for you, my darlings. Oh, wow, the Magician reversed. Okay, so this is like... this is really interesting, because what I'm getting from this is you may be really good at being able to get what you want, because the Magician is like the ultimate form of power. Well, you have the Emperor, which is the ruling power, and then you have the Hierophant. But with the Magician, this is an ability to be able to... So basically the Emperor would employ magicians to be able to, or people with magician-like qualities to be able to rule his kingdom or her kingdom. So you would need magician-like qualities to do it. When it's reversed, it means that you're using it for a kind of... You're not using it for the, let's say, the most noble of causes. There's something where you know that you can get what you want in certain situations, but it's not being used in the correct way, as in like it's being used to take advantage of people. Now, I'm not saying that you do this intentionally, but it seems here that there is something that is happening, that something needs to be redirected. And this, we're talking about how we harness your power. And at the end of the day, there is no, in my book, of course, you've got such things as karma, in the respect of like, do harmful things to other people and harm will be done to you. I completely agree with that. But in the respect of power is just power. It's just whether or not it's in the right hands. How do those hands use it? So what this is saying that you have got a lot of power, Pile 2. You have a lot of power. But what are you going to do with it? How are you going to harness it? How are you going to focus it in a way that that you're going to be able to help yourself and harness the power for I don't know, you might not want to harness it for other people. You might not want to harness it for good. I don't know. But like what I'm seeing here is that there's power that can be used, I'm just getting very Sith vibes, Pile 2. Not gonna lie. So let's see what this all means. I've just realised that there was a card I didn't pull for Pile 1. Poor Pile 1, but never mind. We've got 12th house escape. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. And then I'm going to pull another one, the one that I didn't pull for Pile 1. Let's see. Sensuality. Okay, so there may be something about your sexual vibe that you are able to enchant people. You're able to create glamours with your work or with what you do. Now, a glamour is a term that was used in witchcraft, or in relation to witchcraft, where witches would make themselves look a certain way, particularly in a sensual sense, in a sexual sense. So there may be some way that you enchant people to get what you want, and how you can make this power truly, like, really good, like really powerful, how you can really make it kind of really strong, is by illuminating the path of this 12th house, and also by reversing this magician. So it's almost like understanding that there are going to be some things that you're not going to be able to achieve. There are going to be some things that you're not going to be able to control. And when you allow yourself that, then you're able to kind of harness the energy in a way that isn't trying to manipulate or push, because that's what this is about. This magician reverse is about you pushing things into a certain direction so that it will benefit you the most. And I think that the majority of people who come to my readings, I think they've got quite good intentions. So like, I think that it's important for you to understand that you do have this power. Also, it could be perceived with others that could be the case, but it's important for you to realize that you have this power where people can just will do whatever you want, quite literally, particularly with that 12th house. And you've got to be careful of that pile too. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is a powerful reading. It's by these cards, which I will show you in a minute anyway, and you can wait. So we've got the Page of Cups. Oh, that's a nice central. Oh, and another Page of Wands. Okay. Page of Cups, Page of Wands. Okay, so we've got the Two of Swords reversed. Then we've got the Page of Pentacles. God, the pages are all out. So this is yeah, definitely. You need to ground this energy. Not only that, you need to transmute this energy because it's a bit immature. That's why it's almost like that thing where like somebody, like a kid, knows that they can get stuff all the time. And because they know that they can get stuff, like if they do a certain thing, that they can get something all the time. And then it's almost like, oh, it's too easy. You know, you need something that's going to help you to grow and to challenge you, because if everything just comes to you really easily, there's this tendency to manipulate. I love the colours of these cards. Amazing. 7 of Wands reversed, and then we've got the 5 of Pentacles reversed. Sorry, 7 of Wands upright, 7 and 5 of Pentacles. So reversed. So what I'm getting here is that this is going to take some work, but I think, you know, just understanding where you are. I think what's happened as well is that you've gotten to a certain level of I don't know, your spirituality, yourself, basically in assimilating your power, in understanding your power. Your power is about who you are in this world, how you put yourself across out there, what is the mark that you make, how do you know that you can be around people, and how does that, you know, how can you use that to make your mark on the world? And I think you know this with these 3 pages, Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands, and also Page of Cups. So the emotions, the manifestation of material reality, and also your sensuality, your sexuality. Very good. You are adept students, pile 2. But the one page which is interesting here, which isn't here, is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is the only one that isn't looking at his tool. If you're looking at the Rider-Waite, all of these are looking directly at the thing that comes out of their like this one is looking at the pentacle, this one is looking at the fish, this one is looking at the wand. So it seems to me like there's been a real dedication, like you've been working hard to make this happen. Even if you don't think that you have, I think that there has been something. But I think there has been a sense of you wanting to be better than everyone else. That's why we've got this Seven of Wands here. And I don't know if that's because you have wanted to, you've wanted to get over some trauma or some pain. You've also wanted to make sure that you make your stamp on this world with that Two of Swords. You want to make sure that you are heard, that people know who you are, that when you walk into a room that people notice you. You want that, and you will do that. Look, I mean, look at this Seven of Wands. This Seven of Wands is really interesting because this character has taken the last wand that this person would use to get up that and is ready to stab them with it because they want to stay at the top. So, I mean, pile two, and I say that because I'm a little bit afraid. But also, I'm just telling you because I don't think you'd be at this reading if you weren't ready to receive the message. But there is something about you being really, you seeing that you have this sense of power. And it happens all the time, particularly with spiritual circles, that, you get to a certain level of spirituality or a certain level in the spiritual realm, or like say in meditation or whatever, and you believe that you're an enlightened soul. And in my own personal opinion, I do believe that there are enlightened souls out there. Most of the people that are enlightened, though, I don't think they tell anyone, if I'm honest. Because being enlightened is still a consistent kind of, as far as from what I've read, it's something that's a consistent journey, There's constant humbling of oneself. And the ego is being dissolved, transmuted, transformed. And here we have lots of ego here. So there is something that's going on here that you will have to, you're going to have to just keep down. And what's interesting, we have the Five of Pentacles here. I don't know. I feel like there's something that you're starting to get a sense of recognition of all who you are. That's probably why there's this kind of magician reversed energy, because people may be starting to find you attractive. They may be starting to find you interesting. You might find that you've got like more energy, more kind of just people. Everything seems to be going a little bit better, and it's because you're behaving in these ways, or you may be like, because you may be starting to understand like your power and your status. But what I'm seeing here is that this is really great in terms of that power. It's really great. But if you want to go further, there has to be some kind of thing where you get rid of all of that. It's almost like in like what Yoda says to Skywalker, to Luke Skywalker, that you've got to unlearn what you've learned. You've got to start again. It's all about that. It's all about, when you go back into a situation and you end up, doing something, you're still a student. You're still a beginner. And then that is what's going to really empower you. You'll become even more powerful then. And then there's another set of challenges that come with that. But it's almost like each stage. It's like, right, I'll tell you, okay, I'll give you a little example. So when you do Vipassana meditation, which is basically insight meditation, you might get to a particular stage where you dissolve into nothing. And that stage can be attributed to, you might think that you're becoming enlightened, but actually you've reached like a particular benchmark of where, it's a stage. So you completely dissolve into nothing, and you dissolve and you feel like you're one with everything. But actually that's in fact the first stage. And this is also like a stage that happens continuously as you go through your meditation practice. But then when you first reach that stage, you think that you think that everything's amazing and you think that it's great. For those of you who are interested, it's called Bunga. So if you go into like deep insight in meditation and then you reach this level, it's said to be a particular level that you reach. And then it kind of gets a little bit more complicated after that, because you start to think that you've reached an enlightened state, but then actually then other things start to come up on the surface because you've cleared all the debris and all that kind of like sense of self initially. And then other stuff starts to come up that's maybe even 10 times worse than what you had initially experienced. This is someone who's been through this, so I'm talking from experience. And you just have to continue doing that again and again and again. And you just have to sit with it. You just keep on going again and again and again. Some people don't even want to go to that stage. They may think that they'll be at that stage where everything dissolves and then that's it. They're enlightened. And then that's it. And this is what this is. So beware, pile 2. This is interesting. It's really interesting. If this doesn't resonate, maybe pick one of the other piles. But what this reading here is saying is that you have reached a certain level. You've actually been a very good student in the respect of like you being able to reach something, and it's because of your drive, because of you trying to make your mark on this world. But there's something here with the ego that's causing you to basically take steps back, and it's similar to that whole like exercise that I just described to you. And obviously there's stages like that go on after that, like if you're able to like do more than you can get, but beyond that, there's a really good book called The Mind Illuminated by John Kuldasana, I think it is, or Kuldasana, I can't remember, don't know how to, but it's called The Mind Illuminated. And it shows you step by step in terms of like how far you can get in the respect if you choose to do that type of meditation. It's not easy, folks, but I highly recommend it. But hey, I'm a student of that school, so I would. But anyway, it's one way to break the ego, and we need the ego. Just to let you know, this isn't like, there's a lot of fashionable terms that are like put around that say, oh, you know, you have to dissolve the ego. We need the ego. I've said this loads of times in my videos. We need the ego to live in this world. It's about how we manage it. So, yeah. Anyway, this is the deck that inspired me to do this reading. As you can see, it's got like one of the original pictures of the angels on there, which I love. Yeah, these are lenticular printed. So let's see, which means that they're like kind of holographic. So let's see. So they show 2 images at once. I don't know if these will jump out. They did before, but I don't know if they will now. I'm not going to do it. They hurt my hands. I'll give you 2. So you've got mundane. Oh wow. And that's really interesting considering what I was just talking about. I hope you can see that. Okay. Yeah, I think you can. So mundane. Wow, and being in this magician reversed energy, being mundane you'll be allergic to that. You'll be thinking, mundane? I don't want mundane. If you're in that energy, right? And I'm not saying that you're completely in that. I'm just saying that this is what is standing in your way from you harnessing your power. So this might be a little block in between you and that space. And does that say dream? Yeah, dream. Look at that. Amazing, right? Oh my God, these cards. These cards are so amazing. Love them. Okay, right. So we've got dream and mundane. So I think your dreams are going to tell you some really valuable stuff. And there's something about the mundane. Let's just see what the book says about that. Because I don't know. I just got these cards today, so I'm just going to like have a look. But let's have a look. Mundane, mundane, mundane. Does it have any? Can I see it there? We're a culture that celebrates special, virility, celebrity, genius, excess, accomplishment. Across every culture through time, there has always been the distinguished. Going a bit further, the digital landscape has allowed us to whittle down our lives to the highlights. Even the mundane is repackaged as glamorous in some way. Drinking tea in the morning has become a beautiful 30-second clip with accompanying music. The routine we live within can create friction The idea of I'm not doing enough, our life can feel like it shrinks in response. The mundane asks you to decorate and celebrate everything, like a mother making a game out of the chores. We can make anything enchanting. This is found magic, and it doesn't need to be found on your Instagram feed. I love that. I love that. So, I mean, but the message is there, but that also resonates with the fact of, like, you know, the magician reversed would be someone who wants to glamorize their life, you know, make it Instagrammable culture. That's what it is. Each to their own in terms of, like, what you want to do. You know, that's all up for you. You know, that's all what you want to do. But, like, in terms of, like, in my own opinion of what I think that spirituality is, I don't think that's anything to do with it. That's, like, commercial spirituality, in my opinion. But hey, this is my opinion. But I think that, you know, that's what you want to do if you want to harness your power. Wow, face your fear. It was reversed. So, but I'm going to read these upright. So facing your fear. And look at the crow. Turning the prism of the one bit of light into the prism. So there's something about you really, you know, being truthful with yourself. If you have reached this state, you know, which the pages are, because it's gone through the levels of like 1 to 10, the ace to the 10. If you've reached this state, which we've got the 5 of Pentacles here as well, then you've got the ability to be able to see this. But that may be the whole thing, you know, that may be the whole, like, kind of, I wouldn't say stumbling block, but maybe this is the current obstacle at the moment, you know. This is something that you have to get through. I remember when I did my first meditation retreat, 10 days silence, you know, I did a video after it, and honestly, the ego that you see after that video, and then when you look at the second one, after I did that, I was so humbled. I was so humbled. And even then, continuously, 5 years after that, I still understand that there's just so much more to learn. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. But then when I talk to people and then they're kind of like, oh, actually, you do know a little something, then that's okay. But the consistent humbling is going to be really valuable for you. It actually, well, it does. It makes you so much stronger. There's a reason why monks renounce themselves and they don't do it, like, they do mundane things. They're not, you know, they don't become kings or gurus or spiritual leaders. Some of them do talks, you know, and then people go to them and then they follow them, but they still renounce, you know, stuff. That's why I'm a bit funny about people who like the commercial spirituality route, but hey, it exists because there's no regulation, right? Anyway, my darlings, very candid reading there. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe for more videos. If you want to go deeper into your own personal journey, please contact me for a personal reading. We can go deeper into some things and be able to really look at what elements will be able to help you with your power. But otherwise, my darlings, I really appreciate your time, your support, and all of my new subscribers. You're all amazing. Take care, and I'll see you in the next pick a card. Bye. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading. So, I'm telling you, these have been some intense messages. You know, it's a big subject, so here we go. The Knight of Swords reversed. Interesting. You're scared to go forward, it seems like. It seems like you're nervous about going forward because there's something about your sense of power that you don't believe in. You may be second guessing yourself, but it's almost like you're too, like you're almost afraid of your power. I feel, Pile 3. Really interesting. I really like it because, like, there's been very different messages for all of you. So, like, for Pile 1, 2, and 3, very different messages. So that's really good. I love it when there's a bit of variety rather than it being similar messages. But then again, some of you may be watching this as well as some of the other piles, which is perfectly fine. But there is some fear here. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you picked pile 2 and pile 3, but let's see. Or maybe pile 1. Yeah, I don't know. This might be an add-on to some of the other piles, but let's see what the astrology has to say. Okay, that's too many, so I'm just going to take this one, which is first house, the body. So for you to like work through this, it's going to be really important for you to focus on yourself, your body. The Body Keeps the Score, which is a really amazing book, and it's about how trauma is stored in the body. So anything that you like, maybe have a think about what, you know, how your relationship is towards your body, how you feel with your body. That will really help you to gain some more confidence, because, you know, I have a friend of mine, this amazing friend, and I remember knowing him 10 years ago, and he had a very slight figure, and now he's been working consistently on his body for the last 5 years, 6 years, 5 years, I would say. And his arms and his body look amazing right now. He's got like, he just looks fantastic. And that's because of the consistent work that he's been doing. And it's been helping him to kind of bolster his self-esteem and who he is. So may that be an example. Okay, let's have a look at these as well. Poor pile 1, they didn't get this, but yeah, healing. Oh, right, candle flame, burn this now, bring to me your healing power. So 11 as well. So your message is going to be a little bit kinder. Pile 3. The other 2, I gave I gave some licks, as they would say. I gave a bit of a, you need to sort it out. But whereas like with you, pile 3, it seems like you need a little bit of like, oh, you're going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You know, keep going. You're going to do all right. And I really feel that, you know, you are hiding your power away. You're keeping it under something. So let's have a look at what the tarot wants to say to you. Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got the 5 of Pentacles reversed. We've got the Sun, and then we've also got the Hanged Man reversed. So the main thing that's going to happen here is for you to create a different sense of perspective on your own happiness, because it seems to me like you've got quite a lot to look forward to. You know, and I think there's a sense of belief that has to go on here. I do think that you do realize that you are capable of harnessing a sense of power, but I do feel that there is something that's hindering you. You know, I just feel like you're scared to go forward. With this 5 of Pentacles reversed, I'm just feeling that there's, you know, you're starting to understand that about yourself. You may be already in the process of understanding that you do need to take a different perspective on this. You may be realizing that you haven't been harnessing your power. So that might be interesting to look at. No, I want to put that there. That's the 7 of Cups reversed. Yeah, wow, and the Hierophant. So you're understanding that you're going to have to do things in a very different way than you had done before, because it's that whole thing of you doing exactly the same thing and getting the same results, but you actually wanting something different and doing the same thing. It's not going to work. You're going to have to do something different this time. So, and you know, you're really being candid with yourself. I would just say, just take it easy, you know, like, but I think this is great. This is really good. You're almost like, in a way, really, really coming down on yourself, but don't come down on yourself too hard. Just be, you know, just take it easy. Oh my God. So this is exactly the same card as pile 1 in the same position. So this is about you embracing yourself, about you truly loving yourself, about you coming to terms with who you are so that you can embrace your power and that you can actually like really believe that you are capable of this power. What an incredible, incredible thing And the way that you can do this is by getting in touch with your body. I really do feel that. Looking at yourself and getting in touch with your body. I don't know why I just got it into my head, but like just putting makeup on yourself for those who, you know, who like to experiment with makeup. Like, I'll tell you something, like the other day, I hadn't done it in ages, and I've got a really good, like, I bought myself this amazing makeup kit last Christmas. Well, not the Christmas just gone, the Christmas before that. And it's actually called Mercury Retrograde because I thought it was really cool. But it's like a, you know, kind of well-known palette from quite a well-known makeup artist or makeup brand. And I got it because obviously the name, and I just thought I'd treat myself. But there was like amazing colours in there that I'd never really worn. I'd been quite frugal with the way that I applied the colour onto my face and not really kind of gone with it. I used to also work as a makeup artist back in the day. So I kind of, you know, I started to just put it on my face and just experiment. And I was just really shocked at how like great it looked. And I was like, wow, I'm starting to actually start to embrace that part of myself again that used to play with makeup and used to, you know, when I was a kid and used to, or not even a kid, when I was a teenager and I used to do stuff like that. It also did bring up some other trauma, which I had to kind of like work with, certain voices and certain things and memories about kind of stigma around makeup. But that was really interesting. And then I thought, okay, I can work through that and see how I'm going through with that and seeing how I can kind of transmute that into a state where now we're in a time where pretty much anything goes. Like, well, I'm very lucky to live in London. London, you can wear whatever you want. You can pretty much get away with whatever you want in the respect of like makeup, hair and clothes. And in terms of experimentation, you know, people come to London to explore that, you know, to the cities. So we're very diverse here. We've got such an amazing opportunity to be able to explore who we really are. And there's something very healing about that, you know. You can actually be who you want to be without being judged. And that's the kind of story I was trying to say here with this Knight of Swords. Like, that's what that's about. If you allow yourself the space to be able to express yourself, and if you don't know who you are, if you don't know how to express yourself, it's about you being able to give yourself the time, the space and the energy to do that. And I think with these two cards here, it kind of like shows that you are on that space to do that. You are in that place to be able to harness that for yourself. You've also got, you know, we've got these two cards here, which is the 5 and the 7 reversed. Cards where you feel like this card is where you feel like you're left out in the cold, and this one where you're like kind of deluding yourselves with illusions is yourself with illusion is kind of like now you're starting to see the reality with it being reversed, and now you're starting to feel that you're actually coming in from the cold. You're starting to feel that there is a place for you, that you do deserve to be here, that you are worthy of this power, that you are an amazing human being that deserves to have this energy and this power, and you have it. Like, you really have it. It's almost like this really beautiful, beautiful plant that just needs to be nurtured and allowed to grow. And then it will sprout really quickly. So that's what I'm sensing here, pile 3. You've also got like you've got 1, 2, you've got 4, you know, major arcana out of 6. So this is about your evolution. This is about who you are and about you finding, you know, your sense of happiness, but it's in a very different way than you ever could have imagined. So I think there's a bit of like thinking out of the box and understanding that the normal way isn't going to be the way that maybe that works for you. You might need to start to think of some other different perspectives. So with that being said, let's pull one of the cards that inspired this reading. This is the Imperium deck. These are holographic cards, which you'll see in a minute. I picked 2 for the other 2 piles, so I'll pick 2 for you. I don't know, these don't tend to jump out, but it might surprise me, I don't know. They are pretty, they've got really sharp edges though, they're pretty lethal. Okay, right, so we've got 1. So this one is, oh wow, you got the same as pile 2. So it's mundane. Wow. So with mundane on this level, right, what I'm getting here, and because we've got this like kind of hand and then the doves, I hope that you can see that. Yeah, we've got mundane, we've got these doves, or they may be even eagles. I think they're actually, no, they're eagles. They're eagles and a hand and this kind of like planet. Yeah. So because of that, what I think is that, you know, you being able to find the beauty in the mundane. Now it's really interesting, because if you've come from pile 2, then you'll know that I think this is a very different context into what the card is saying. Like this is about you appreciating yourself within the mundane, like you understanding that it's okay for you to be in the mundane, for you to be, you know, mundane is okay. And it's almost like understanding what the normal is for you as well. Okay, I'm going to pick one because, no, I'm not. I want to shuffle. So let's see if it jumps out. Just a little bit lethal. Wow. And I'm not reading these upside down. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. It says static. Does it say static? Yeah, static. Wow, yeah. It doesn't really show up too well on the... Let's see how it shows up on the camera. It shows up a lot better on the camera than it does like for you. So that's, and for me. So that's very handy. So what does that even... Let's have a look. What is it saying here? Bear with me 1 second while I find it in the book, and then I'm going to read it to you. Okay, sorry for the shaky camera. So the earth is still rotating and moving beneath us even when we can't feel it or see it. We are still always on the move even when we aren't, but the feeling of static, being stuck, may be deeply uncomfortable. We each live in this space differently. You may feel completely shut down. You may feel like your cells are on fire. You may feel like your whole body has restless leg syndrome. Oftentimes we are pushing up against our life with so much force we cannot see that we have the space to move. This card asks you to zoom out and let your eyes readjust. Our brains are so powerful, but they can keep us doing the same pattern over and over again. Okay, right. So what it's saying here is that basically there is no need to move. I mean, it does say about being in a period of like healing. So, and particularly with this mundane card, there is something about stillness for you, pile 3. There's something about you, like with stillness, that's going to be really beneficial to you. So what I would suggest is that any kind of meditation or anything like that is going to be really, really useful. Particularly chakra meditation, I would say. Anything to do with these chakras, so the purple, the heart, so the crown, the heart and the throat. Those are going to be really, really good for you. The crown, the heart and the throat, okay? I'm not really seeing so much third eye, but you can also do that one as well. So let's pull one more card for you to close out the reading. I've really enjoyed these. These have been really great. Wow. And all of them were reversed. So it seems to me that this is the thing that all of you need to do. Like when I've pulled these cards, that you need to do this in order to move through this, to harness the power. So it's see beyond the past. Interesting. And we have this swan as well. So I think that there may have been some kind of incident that happened in the past that caused you to think that you weren't worthy of the riches and the beauty that you're allowed to have. And I think it's really important that you allow yourself to accept these. And you're in a process of healing, so you may not be ready to accept them just yet. But I think that this is a pathway to your power. And the way that you can increase that is by working on your body. On working on yourself and working who you are. That's going to really help you. So, but yes, that's what I have for you, pile 3. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. These have been rather incredible readings. I'm really honoured. But if you did want to go deeper into your own personal situation, please get in contact for a personal reading, because these readings are general. But otherwise, my details are in the description box below. But otherwise, my darlings, you take care. And I shall see you in future picker cards. Please do like, subscribe and share and all that good stuff. Bye.